Hello everyone and welcome to P1 Broadcasting's presentation of the American Motorsport Association Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. I'm your host, Mark Murphy, and I'm joined as always by my good friend and sidekick, Sam Crow. And Sam, we're back at Bristol one night after what turned out to be a really exciting Grand National race that came down to a late race charge from Kyle Heath that came up just short against Greg Evans. But tonight, we're in the Premier Series, we're in the trucks, and we've got a full field ready for 250 laps of action here on the high banks at Bristol.
We sure are. We're gluttons for punishment because we've come back for seconds. It's just like Grandma's homemade apple pie. You just can't get enough of it.
No, you cannot get enough of Bristol, and neither can the AMA. This is the fifth truck race here, Sam. The fifth one. This track appears on the schedule both in the spring and the fall. The original spring race here was on the dirt. Kevin Grettenberger won the pole for that one, and Pat O'Brien was the winner in the first AMA race here. Ryan Honeycutt, David Dunwoody, and Kyle Heath are the other pole winners. And then the race winners here, Claus Williams, he was the winner in the fall of 2023. Jamie McKinney, he won in the spring of 2024. And some guy named Mark Murphy went to victory lane in the last Truck Series race here at Bristol. That would have been the fall of 2024. In terms of series notes, we did go over it last night. We are looking at a new penalty system. They are going to be distributing penalty points tonight, Sam, and so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. This is really the first weekend for it. You've got experience with that, and so talk a little bit about what the series officials would like to see by instituting such a system.
It's always the heart of an administrator and a team of administrators when they're running a league. It's always their heart that they have a league where there's green flag racing, battles from the front of the field to the back of the field. But one thing that deters attendance, it deters driver excitement, and it actually deters fan participation as well, is caution field races. No one wants to come and watch parade laps or funeral processions. Nobody shows up for those things. And so the administration, like I have done in the past in my own administration years, is that they're just trying to find a good feel for this group of talented drivers, where they will be a little more cautious, a little bit more thoughtful in how they approach the races and how they drive their trucks or their cars, and try to deter some of the over-aggressive behavior, maybe staying on the gas when the caution comes out, or just driving in too deep and not paying attention to the braking point of the car in front of you. It's just to encourage the drivers to pay closer attention to their surroundings, race their fellow racer clean, and if they can't do that, then the point system will police them, and they'll just gradually begin to get reprimanded for poor driving. So if you amass a certain amount of points, then you will suffer a penalty for that, and the more points you accrue, the more severe the penalty. I've had races in the past had leagues in the past where it was a 2 caution minimum. If you caused 2 cautions, irregardless, we would park that driver for the rest of the evening. But the point system that Kendall Paul and the rest of the administrators here have implemented is just a way to deter drivers from making decisions that would be less than beneficial for the race and for the league.
You said it, Sam, and thank you so much for that explanation. And so we do have that penalty system in play here tonight. I do want to thank everybody for joining in. The Mystic Whisperer, thank you so much for being here, and wishing Mike George good luck. We've got Donald Green in the house. He's getting ready to tee it up one more time. He's 24th quick on the board right now. We do have 28 drivers signed in for this evening's event. We've got about 5 minutes and some change to qualifying. While we do that, we'll just give you kind of a quick overview of the point standings. Right now, Ryan O'Donohue leads those points. Kendall Paul is second. Chad Winstand, Paul Witt, and Gregorio Dorso round out the top 5. And Sam, winners this season, well, it's very much been the Chad and Chad show. Chad Dulaban has 2 wins. Chad Winstead has 1. Justin Osterman has one. And if you scroll all the way down to the points, he's made one start. It was one and done for Tanner Hacker, but he also has a win this season. And so those are the 5 winners. Those are the drivers locked in to the AMA Truck Series playoffs. Ryan O'Donohue does not have a win. He hasn't won in the Xfinity Series or the Grand National Series either. The Black Magic Studios Grand National Series that we ran last night. He hasn't won, but he's pulling the Murphy strategy there, Sam. He's finishing in the top 5 an awful lot.
Well, it's a good strategy to have. I don't see where the fault is in that particular strategy, Mark.
You don't,
especially if you're running points.
You don't win a lot if you do that. But you know what you do? You pile up points, and piling up points is what pays the money at the end. Like most leagues, the
old adage is that you always want to put yourself in a position to win. If you're running top 5, you're putting yourself in a position to win races.
That's right. And you may not be the fastest. You may not be the fastest car. You may not have it that night. But if you can put yourself in the top 3, the top 5, anything can happen. And Ryan O'Donohue is certainly doing that. And he's going to win one of these before this is all over. Same for Gregorio Dorso. Same for Kendall Paul. Same for Paul Witt. Those guys are all plenty fast. And so we do look.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, but Tanner, you said Tanner had won a race this year.
Yes.
But he's not met the requirement for attendance for playoffs, right?
That is correct. You can only miss, I believe, 3 races in order to qualify for the playoffs. Tanner Hacker has not met that requirement as of today, and so he is not in my lineup. But there are 28 cars that are, and so we'll focus on the ones that are here and the implications for them. Do want to thank Archway Industrial Coatings for their support of the AMA series. If you're looking for excuse me, Sam, my goodness. If you're looking for a floor in the St. Louis area, they're the ones to call. They do epoxy and urethane flooring solutions that withstand the test of time, and they meet their customers' installation schedules and budgets. They're committed to doing the highest quality work at the lowest possible cost every time. Whether you're looking for industrial flooring, commercial flooring, restaurant, retail, or concrete repair at home, you found the perfect partner to get that job done now. That's archwaycoatings.com. You can also reach out to Sean Mott, who is number 5 in these races. Sean, though, I do not believe is here this evening. So Sean Mott taking the night off.
I do not see him in the lineup.
He's taking the night off tonight, Sam, and that's okay. Everybody deserves a night off every once in a while, right?
Well, there's nothing wrong with it. Might be date night tonight.
It could be. Who knows? Maybe he's got tickets to a Cardinals game.
Well, that's always a possibility. It is baseball season, but I'm a Cubs fan. Who would want to go see the Cardinals?
You know, I live 2 hours. I can get on a train from where I live, and be at Wrigley Field in 2 hours.
You're breaking my heart.
The one, though, and I'm not a Cubs fan. I'm a huge Braves fan. We discussed that last night. The one that we go to more, though, Sam, is Comiskey. To see we go to Comiskey Park a lot to see the White Sox. And the reason we do that is, one, the South Shore train line, it stops right at Comiskey Park. So
I see.
So it lets you off. It lets you off right there. The other reason that we favored Comiskey over the last several years is that the White Sox are absolutely terrible. And when the team is terrible,
tickets are very affordable.
when the team is terrible, the tickets are dirt cheap. I think the last time I took the family over there for a Sunday afternoon game, it was like $3 a piece.
Oh.
And that's when you can't find somebody that'll give them to you. You know, you got to pay, $3 to $5. Maybe if you want to sit in the lower bowl down a baseline, you'll pay $10. But it's very
far worth it to see a Major League Baseball game.
You know how they have those. You know how they have those seats in the club right behind home plate where you get access to the all you can eat and all you can drink stuff, Sam? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the concierge services.
Yeah, you can have those. You can have those on a weeknight at Comiskey Park for a C-note. which
Really?
if anybody's ever been to
Totally worth it.
yeah,
Totally worth
if
it.
anybody's ever been to a Major League Baseball game, that's 3 beers and a hot dog.
That's awesome.
So we do that quite a bit. We are ready to see quite a bit of speed, though, Sam. It is qualifying, and as we like to do, we're going to hop on board with some of these drivers and take a look at what they're seeing around the Bristol Motor Speedway.
Well, I'll tell you what they are going to see is they're going to see a whole lot of steering wheel in this race, just based on practice alone. A lot of trucks were really struggling to get rear grip, and so it's going to be interesting to see how they handle their qualifying laps. In my opinion, you'll probably see some of the faster laps. Trucks will be running the top. They'll just run the top, and with only 2 laps, they'll be able to get more momentum off the top side instead of trying to hug the bottom. So you'll probably see most of your qualifying on that top line.
You most certainly will. Here's Billy Elwell in the number 67. Liam Anderson goes quickest. As you were talking about, Sam, earlier, you had thought that the qualifying laps here would be right around the top, and you were not lying. These drivers right around the top of the Bristol Motor Speedway. At least Billy Elwell is right now. He is second quick. He's on his second lap across the line, and Billy Elwell 14.874 is going to be.
It's a great lap.
It's a great lap. It's going to be second quick. Let's have a look at another one of the drivers that's out. Here's Pat O'Brien. He's coming around the top side. Pat O'Brien has gone to 10th fast. Here's Justin Osterman. Big slide for Osterman coming out of turn 4. He will not save it going into turn number 1. Osterman goes to 3rd, but Justin Osterman
will have to go to the backup truck.
No, he didn't hit anything. He does not have to go to the backup truck, but he definitely had what would be termed as a lurid slide. We're looking at Ken Holland there. It is 76 degrees on the track, or in the air, Sam. 89 on the track. The wind is very light out of the south, 5 miles an hour. I would suspect that is not going to play anything with these drivers. We're going to hop on to Ryan O'Donoghue here as he works around the Bristol Motor Speedway. O'Donoghue is on the bottom.
He got out there just in time for some cloud cover, so we might see a good lap from Ryan O'Donoghue here. There is cloud cover down the backstretch and some shading, so he may get a little grip over there.
Yeah, he's come out and used that grip. He's second quick right now. Mike George is the provisional pole sitter, but here comes a very rapid Ryan O'Donoghue. 15.347 on his 348, on his second lap. Not quick enough.
I think he got a piece of the wall on the second lap.
Might have. Here's Ken Holland. Watch off of his roll bar. Now, Ryan O'Donoghue was down around the bottom. We saw Billy Elwell, Justin Osterman. They're going around the top. Ken Holland is taking the bottom. So split strategies, multiple strategies on drivers who deciding what lines they want to run here, Sam.
Again, it's a driver preference and wherever your level of comfort is. Some drivers feel like that half lane up off of the very bottom is a fast lap. Some drivers will actually enter on the middle and try to straighten turns 2 and 4 off as they're trying to get more throttle coming off of the corners. And so it's just a comfort level for some drivers. But with only 2 laps, that's why you were seeing some of the faster cars or faster trucks were using that high line.
Yes, indeed. Do want to point out,
Mike George at the top. I mean, Mike George was in our chat last night saying, "I'm really looking forward to tomorrow night," and so here he is on the pole.
Yes, he is, and by a pretty stout margin too. We're watching James Hodgson. He's got the forward facing number on the top of that Ford F-150. Eagle Flight 72 would like to check out the 09. Keith Graham has made his run. He currently sits 18th quick. We're waiting on James Hodgson to go, and he is not going to go.
He's about to run out of time.
Yep, we are looking at 30 seconds to go.
Yeah, it would be hard for him to get. He could get one lap in, but he's quickly losing that opportunity.
Yeah, I don't foresee anybody.
And he blanks out. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anybody else is going to go. We do have several trucks that have elected to not put in a qualifying lap, and so we're going to go ahead and call qualifications over. And as soon as that grid gets finalized, we're going to bring it right to you.
Now, what did you tell me last night was the fastest lap here at this track in a World of Outlaws car?
It was in the 13-second bracket. I'll have to go look it up.
That's what I thought.
I'll have to go look it up. Let's see.
Because these trucks are turning faster laps than the Xfinity cars were last night.
Well, as they should. They do have more downforce. They do have more downforce. David Gravel, 2021, 13.739 is the absolute track record.
Full second off of what the trucks are doing tonight.
Yeah, that is the absolute track record. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I can almost imagine. Have you ever seen video footage of the fighter pilots that go through the gravity testing in the centrifuge? I wonder if that's
I have not.
Gravel look.
I'll tell you a fun story about Bristol here in just a moment. Mike George is going to be on the pole. Ryan O'Donohue to his outside. Colby Pierce, Justin Osterman, they're going to make up row 2. Billy Elwell, Kendall Paul, row 3. Austin Hunt and Chad Winstead qualify 7th and 8th. Jeffrey Hyatt and Logan Edwards, he's back for another taste. He ran really good last night. He's going to roll off 10th. In 11th, how about Ken Holland? Liam Anderson will go 12th. Andrew Miller, 13th. Pat O'Brien, 14th. Braden Langley, Brian Sharp, 15th and 16th. Ted Craven, Keith Graham, Donald Green, and Jason Southard will round out your top 20. In 21st, Chuck Sweeting and David Dunwoody, James Hodgson, Michael Kirk, Jeremy Dunwoody, Jalen Story, John Hutchins, and Barry Seaman are going to round out the field. None of these cars in the back from Sweeting on down did take time. Jalen Story and John Hutchins have not yet joined the server.
Neither has Michael Kirk. Those three drivers are not currently in the server at the moment.
And so they're going to have to...
Kendall Paul just announced that the stage brakes will be at lap 55 and 130.
65 and 130.
55 and 130.
55 and 130. So they played some tricks on us. There's a note sheet that Kendall Paul and his administrators give to Sam and I, and it says 65 in there. So 55.
Well, unless his accent is just so crisp that I missed it, it would make more sense to be 65 if he's dividing them equally.
Yeah. No, I gotcha. The Mystic Whisperer wants to congratulate Mike George on his pole. Eagle Flight says this is going to be awesome. We tend to agree, Sam and I do, that this is one of the most fun places that you can have to watch a motor race. Is the Bristol Motor Speedway.
Oh, and the camera angles that, Mark, you've been producing last night and already I've seen in practice. The fans are really going to enjoy these camera angles as it presents the racetrack. And we're under green. Tighten those belt drivers. Let's go.
Away they go, and you see him hurtle down the backstretch. Mike George in command of the field here. Ryan O'Donohue second. Colby Pierce has slotted in the third.
Pit lane. Or is that the pace truck? That's the pace truck.
Yeah, that is the pace truck. There's your front three. They've snuck away. 33 Mike George, 14 Ryan O'Donohue, 42 Colby Pierce are all amongst are the three leaders. You've got to
now someone is coming off of the pit lane.
That's going to be Jeremy Dunwoody, I believe. And there's Jeremy.
He may have missed the start.
Yeah, I think Jeremy did miss the start. He was scored briefly as the leader, which is kind of a quirk of iRacing. Billy Elwell In
The
fourth,
glitch, yes.
yeah, it's a glitch. Billy Elwell goes quickest. The Hornet's Nest, though, is right back here. You've got the 78 of Kendall Paul, 34 Chad Winstead, 53 Justin Osterman. These trucks are running along 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and they are all over one another trying to get to the head of that train, get to the bottom, and start to run down the top 4.
There'll be a lot of jockeying around for positions here, and drivers trying to get a feel for what. Oh, and Osterman almost loses it off of 2. He gathers it back up.
All right, man. Caution.
We've got caution.
Caution on the racetrack.
We've got caution. It's an unrelated incident for the number 32 of Jason Southern. And
he is already.
He's already punched it out.
The pit lane. Yeah, he went straight to the pit lane. He just loses it on the high side of turns 1 and 2. He comes right in front of James Hodgson, and he backs into the wall. The damage really shouldn't have been that extensive, but maybe he was just trying to get out of the way to prevent any other truck from hitting him. But he went straight to the pit lane and towed, so he may be sitting there for a few minutes.
Yeah, there it is. You see it. It just gets loose with him right in front of James Hodgson. James does not miss him. He missed him the first time. He didn't miss him the second time. And then there's the immediate tow trying to not cause the caution. But by that point, it's already out. And so a tough break for Jason Southern here in the beginning of the event.
I think the trucks typically cold tires. It'll take probably anywhere. Just depends on how aggressively the driver is. You can still get the rear of the truck around within 10 laps. It'll still be a bit loose. Then there'll be a little flat area in the tire where things will kind of even out, and then later in the run it will get loose as well. It'll get tight in the middle and loose off. So. My concern was during practice is that we were going to see a lot of trucks burning up the right rear, and that would cause that loose condition coming off of the corners.
Well, I tell you,
hopefully other drivers are taking note of this, and that they'll race accordingly.
I tell you what, Sam, what's going to help that situation out is the weather. Nightfall is coming. This race is run as a daytime start, a finish under the lights. And it has cooled considerably. It was 89 degrees on the track when we started. It's 74 now.
Difference maker, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Big difference maker. And it's overcast. And the sun is going down already. Last night, the sun didn't get this low until the end of the event. The lights are going to be on here within the next, probably half an hour or so.
Right. They're not infrared, so they won't be heating the concrete up here at Bristol. And so that will definitely make a big difference on how these trucks handle and giving them more grip.
Do we know, are the lights here neon or are they halogen, Sam?
They're actually most tracks now have all gone to LED.
They're LED. That sounds
yes.
That sounds super expensive.
Green flag.
It is all most, and really that's because of cost efficiency. You pay more for the LED lights up front. Of course, they cost more, but in the long run, the cost efficiency and the longevity of the light lasts so much longer. They save on power.
There you go. The lighting lesson from
Not
Sam.
counting the amount of lumens that you can get out of a LED as compared to a halogen or a halide light. A lot of older tracks used halide technology. So
I'll tell you what, we've got a battle for the lead. Ryan O'Donohue is gone to the bottom of Mike George, and he has taken away the top spot. Meanwhile, Billy Elwell has gotten past Colby Pierce for third. Pierce now is falling back into the clutches of Chad Winstead. Here's that battle, and behind them is a mess. The front five, the front five have more or less got themselves straightened out, but the mess is back here. It's Kendall Paul.
A bunch of angry bees back here.
Yeah, you got Kendall Paul on the bottom.
Two by two.
And this is where it's really hard for the fans out there. This is where it gets really hard. Cautions breed cautions, and so starts and restarts before you really get single filed out and everybody finds a rhythm. This is the best time to try to make a pass, and it's also the best time to get yourself into trouble.
Well, you have drivers that are going to want to run the bottom and feel like that they can save tire on the bottom, And then you're going to have drivers, because they want to save tire for the long run, then you'll have the drivers that really want to push the issue and get all the use out of the tire that they can early on. So they're going to go to the
Whoa,
high
we've got
side
trouble. It's
and
Liam
get-
Anderson.
Ooh.
He saves it. No caution. Everybody keeps on trucking, but we're going to go back and see what's happened to Liam Anderson. He was fully sideways.
Oh, no kidding. No kidding. Oh, and he got tagged, too.
Yeah, so here he is. He's coming off a
Someone
turn
hit him and straightened
4.
him out.
So this is going to be off a 2. We mentioned last night it is sometimes very difficult to tell where you're at Bristol because the two ends of the speedway look almost identical, even from a TV shot. But there he is. He gets loose coming off of turn number 2. He has that truck nearly full sideways, and then the 83 of Braden Langley comes along, straightens him up. He gets a little shimmy there from Brian Sharp, and everybody keeps on going. There's Liam. He's got dents in both sides of the number 18. We'll go ahead and get a little bit closer. The Krause Auto Body machine is still sideways. My goodness, Sam.
These guys have got a handful of these trucks right now. Billy Elwell is doing everything he can to hold on to second position. He is about lost that truck 2 or 3 times already. Watching as the trucks behind him begin to stack up, and now he's trying to get back into a rhythm.
Yeah, there's the battle behind Billy Elwell. You're riding along inside his rear bumper. You see Chad Winstead and Mike George. They're fighting over third position. Meanwhile, Billy Elwell has seen Ryan O'Donohue disappear into the distance. O'Donohue has built a 2-second lead here early, and I would surmise that if Chad Winstead, Mike George, Colby Pierce can get around Billy Elwell here, they're going to be able. Whoa, Billy Elwell goes around.
There he goes. Billy Elwell wrecks right in front of that crowd.
Collects Chad
Oh,
Winstead.
and they're not stopping. Good heavens, who was that drove in and hit him? Was that Adam O'Brien?
Might have been Pat O'Brien.
Or Pat O'Brien.
Yeah, it might have been Pat. Adam is not here this evening. We're going to go back and take a look, and we're just going to ride inside the roll bar.
Wow.
We're going to ride inside the truck of Pat O'Brien and just know where to go. The track is blocked. Yeah, he's slowing down, Sam. You can see the RPMs dropping. He had dropped to the bottom
well, I think what looking back, he starts to go to the inside, not knowing exactly where Billy Elwell is, if he's going to drift down the track, and he at the last second he changes his mind to turn right.
Yeah,
as he's slowing down, Billy's sitting right where his decision was.
But that's gonna get damage to at least 3 or 4 of our top 6. You see Kendall Paul, he drifts through it. You've got one of the Black Magic Studios trucks behind. That's David Dunwoody. He's gonna slide that thing sideways to a stop so he doesn't hit anything, and then he runs into the wall anyway. I got to call Pat O'Brien there.
Winstead gets a piece of this.
Colby Pierce got one.
Colby Pierce got a piece of this.
And there you see Pat O'Brien. That truck has smoke pouring from under the hood, Sam. He does have the meatball. He must respect it, but I don't foresee that truck getting back out onto the racetrack this evening. I believe that baby has done blowed up.
Done blowed up.
Well, and remember, fans, we saw this last night. If just because you see smoke doesn't necessarily mean there's an accident out on the racetrack. You can see there as we sit at the very top of the Colwicky Tower, you can see the smoke coming off a pit lane, and it drifts across the entire track. That doesn't necessarily mean trouble. That just means somebody has a vehicle sitting on the pit lane that has expired, as they would say, Sam.
It's like Mike George went ahead and got a lot of the damage that he had in this particular wreck fixed on the pit lane. I don't know if that was all of it, but he certainly stayed there for an extended amount of time.
Certainly
Billy
did.
Before that, Billy was fast, but Billy Elwell there was a couple of times there where he was really on the ragged edge of trying to keep the truck under him. I noticed that he was trying a high entry and a low exit, but sometimes when you try that low exit in a truck with a loose condition like that, once you start applying so much throttle and you still have steering wheel input into the truck, those are the things that you run into. You just get so much wheel spin. And we're back under green.
We are indeed looking at the battle for second place. Colby Pierce has it. Austin Hund wants it, and Hund wants it bad down to the bottom in that multicolored 0-2. Meanwhile, Logan Edwards has snuck up into fourth place. He was mighty fast last night in that.
He sure was. He had a great run last night.
Yes, he did. He ran up at the front. He led some laps, Logan Edwards did. Ultimately faded a little bit at the end due to some strategy and some tire wear. But don't count out that 49. It might be purple and it might not have any sponsors on the side of it. But that baby's fast. He gets by Austin Hund, or Ryan O'Donohue, excuse me, and he's going to go to second. Colby Pierce has made his way past O'Donohue, and we've got a new leader.
Colby Pierce has decided that the damage that he received in that incident was not enough. Not enough to stop him from getting up to the front.
It might not have been enough to retire the truck either. Colby has been bitten by quite a bit of bad luck this year, and it's good to see him in the Tasmanian Devil inspired machine from Blackmagic Studios. No Pass Media going to the front. Caution is back on the Speedway.
Again here on the racetrack. Trying to see where.
Well, I think that's going to be the Aflac Duck of Barry Seaman. He's already on pit lane. He instantly towed, but let's see what's happened. Let's see what's happened with Seaman here.
I couldn't even find the incident on the track right after the flag went out. He
towed so quickly.
He got lost. The same thing that happened earlier. He loses it in turns 1 and 2, and then he's off the racing surface there, but with the truck, the orientation completely backwards. I'm sure that's what brought the caution out.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain, Sam, that the entirety of the paved surface between the walls here at Bristol will trigger the caution. I'm fairly certain of that. And so we're back under caution here at the Bristol Motor Speedway.
Billy Elwell will be our lucky dog for this particular caution.
And we saw that last night, Sam. We saw Kendall Paul go multiple laps down at the beginning. He wound up in the top 5 before it was all over. So just because you're a lap or two down here, it doesn't mean anything. As long as you can keep your truck clean and not be involved in the caution, you can absolutely work your way back up to the front here at Bristol. I do want to let everybody know that we do want to thank all of our viewers out there. If you have not done so, make sure you hit the like button on the video. Grab the subscribe button, ring the bell, so that you can be notified of all future P1 Broadcasting iRacing action. We know that about half of you out there do not subscribe to the channel, and we would be incredibly grateful if you would do so. We are under caution, working lap 37 of 250. The lights are just about ready to go out on the pace truck. And Sam, we do want to thank all of our sponsors in the series too: Archway Industrial Coatings, Admin Box, Blackmagic Studios, Trak Racer, and Rogue Energy Drink. All of those that support the AMA and by extension us, we definitely do thank you. And speaking
we wouldn't know what to do without our sponsors.
I'll tell you what,
they make it enjoyable, as well as the AMA drivers and the administrative team. It just really it makes a nice gumbo, so to speak, as we would say.
I did want to point out that, speaking of sponsorship, and I do not want to steal his thunder, but the boss man has told us, Sam, that we're gonna have some new sponsorship for the IndyCar Oval Series that's on Tuesday night. So we're excited to let Gary unveil that. More and more people keep watching the P1 Broadcasting Network, and that's a great thing. And we do thank all of our subscribers as well. Colby Pierce gets the drop. Logan Edwards is second. Austin Hund is third, and there is a hornet's nest of trouble behind him. Kendall Paul, Ryan O'Donohue, that is the 40 of Andrew Miller, Justin Osterman. They're 2x2 going through turn number 4. hauled off into turn number 1, and they look like they're just getting ready to start this race.
I'm watching some of the back markers that we're actually running some lower lines, that as they get a few more laps on these tires, most of these trucks are going to start going to the high side unless you're just disciplined. Oh, wait a minute. There's caution on the field.
Here it is.
Big pile up in 1 and 2. Big pile up in 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's Mike George, Donald Green. We've got the 83 of Braden Langley involved.
And that is Billy Elwell again. Unfortunate that he loses the back of the truck. He had just came out onto the racing surface and just completely loses the back of the truck on entry.
Well, this
and
all
Mike George is again caught in that particular situation.
He was. Here we're looking at the 67 of Billy Elwell.
As well as Donald Green.
Yeah, it goes around on him on entry, just as you said, Sam, and hard impact into the wall, into the 33.
I wonder if he may have thought that making an adjustment with the brake bias was going to help the truck, help the handling of the truck, and he went the wrong way. I don't know. I mean, that to spin that abruptly on entry.
It does suggest rear brake bias, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And so I wonder if the truck was just so unruly before, he felt like he needed to make an adjustment, and that adjustment was just inerrant, and that he went the wrong way, and because it was just not a natural reaction for the truck that early on the braking point.
Very good. Do want to kind of go through the field a little bit just to highlight our drivers. Right now, Colby Pierce in the 42. He's going to lead it. Black Magic Studios, Admin Box, No Pass Media, Moza on the side of that Ford. Tasmanian Devil 2. The purple wrapper for Logan Edwards runs second. Austin Hund, Luke Mansky, Premium Simrig Builders on the side of the O2, and that is multicolored if I've ever seen one, Sam. That's you cannot miss the 02 here tonight for sure. Kendale Paul runs.
Is he trying to keep up with Brian Sharp?
I don't know. Kendale Paul runs fourth. Black Magic Studios, Archway Industrial Coatings, Storm Tracker 78 on his Ford, and then Ryan O'Donohue, he's fifth. His Chevrolet, sponsored by Engine Ice this evening. Trak Racer, Admin Box, Rogue Energy, Fanatec. That is a good looking truck. He continues to have just some unbelievably good looking machines, Sam. So that's
O'Donohue doesn't disappoint bringing the artistic level of his liveries out to each event. He does a great job.
Yes, he does. Pace truck is off. Field is under control of Colby Pierce. Here we come. Green flag is out, and it's starting to get darker, Sam. And when it gets dark here, the lights come on.
Are starting to come on right now as you speak. The lights are starting to come on now.
Yeah, there you see it. And the lights come on at a short track on a Friday night, Sam. That means we're going to have a lot of fun.
Oh, there's nothing more enjoyable than short track racing at night. It just really is. It's so nostalgic, and it's just really, it just brings back so many memories of just your local tracks, as well as going to this particular track at night. It's just a spectacle. It really is.
Yes, it is. And there you see the glow from the interior of the track. That is not those things on the inside there, fans. Those are not lights. Those are mirrors. And so the way they do it is a little bit different than the lighting.
Now we've got another truck spinning in 1 and 2.
It's Osterman. He goes around in turns 1 and 2.
He clipped the apron. He went in. His entry was way too low, and he overcorrected. And when he overcorrected, he just lost the back of the truck.
Yeah. So there's Justin Osterman. I don't think he hit anything, or if he did, it wasn't hard. Just a little kiss of the inside wall there.
He lazily slid down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Yes, he did. Impacts the wall. Caution back on the Speedway. 51 of 250 laps complete here in the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. And we're just going to kind of continue to go through and highlight some of these drivers here while we're under caution. Andrew Miller, he is now 5th. ArchwayCoatings.com on the side of his machine. Chuck Sweeting with the chrome purple. And it's going to be fun to see, Sam. It's not just the lights and it being dark and all that. It's fun to see the chrome and all the nighttime activation stuff start to come out in these liveries. Chuck Sweeting.
Yeah, when you start bringing the spec maps into this thing and they just really start reflecting luminary part of these LED lights, it's really fun to see that.
Yes, it is. Ted Craven, premier setups on his Storm Tracker 78 machine.
And Billy Elwell actually alluded, just to let the fans know that are watching the event, we were curious about him making an adjustment, but he actually alluded to administration that he was having some wheel troubles, and he's now had connection issues, and he is no longer in the server at the moment.
You see David Dunwoody there in the Black Magic Studios truck. He's playing having a little fun with his buddy Ted Craven there. In the 28, James Hodgson in the 88. That's some new paint for him. Admin box on the side.
Patriotic.
You wanted to see Brian Sharp and exactly what that thing looked like under the lights. Well, there he is, Sam. It almost looks more normal under the lights than it does in the daytime.
I love the offset number that I've actually run offset numbers like that before. I like how they designed that for the truck. It looks really good.
Yes, it does indeed. We'll get back up to the front of the field because we're about ready to have a restart here. Mystic Whisperer, I'm with you. Woosah, the race just started, right? You got 200 to go. Green flag is back out here at Bristol. Racing will resume straight up 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Here we go. Colby Pierce gets the jump on the field. Kendall Paul is going to try to rocket to second. Logan Edwards says, not so fast, my friend. Logan Edwards, he goes around the top and he'll hold on to that second spot.
Now, I don't know that anyone's really actually taken the initiative to go in and get fresh rubber on that last caution, because we're getting really close to the stage break now.
There was one driver that came in under the last caution that is on the lead lap. That is Chad Winstead. He currently runs 18th. We are going to have a stage break here at lap 65, folks. And so Chad Winstead came and affected his tire change. And it would very much surprise me to see Chad Winstead back on the pit lane when the caution flies
Chad was
again.
actually in the event, one of the big wrecks with Billy Elwell early on. He did sustain quite a bit of damage in that because he hit Billy Elwell head on, and then he slid into the inside retaining wall.
Speaking of accidents, we've got another one sliding around. That is the 55 of Barry Seaman. He saved it, but that was a moment there right in front of Justin Osterman and the 83 of Braden Langley. Everybody gets away with it. But no, I mean, it's a good point that you make, Sam. If you're Chad Winstead, though, and you got to get damage repaired, why not throw four fresh Goodyears on there? And then that way you'll be the leader whenever the stage comes out if everybody else pits.
Yes, sir. If there's only going to be a few laps, it may be worth the track position to try and do something like that and just save here in this last little run at the first stage, not use up a lot of tire, be very ginger and very delicate with the tires. And so whenever if you stay out for that caution, then you can make up tons of track position and still be somewhat racy during the second stage. Andrew Miller just about loses it in front of Rhino Donahue, but he saves it.
He did.
And they check up behind him.
He did. He pounded the outside retaining wall, though, in order to do that. David Dunwoody gets past, as does Austin Hund, and now Andrew Miller has a rearview mirror full. Now he's got the side full of our good friend James Hodgson, and that's how close they are. My goodness gracious.
These drivers they're racing this first stage like, oh, and Andrew Miller loses it in 3 and 4 right in front of another
Liam
driver.
Anderson. Now Brian Sharp's involved. Andrew Miller. Oh,
no!
no! Keith Graham hard into Andrew Miller. My goodness.
Wow.
Caution.
Wow. That wreck was unfolding way before that contact.
Yeah, so Andrew Miller's racing James Hodgson pretty hard. He's coming. Liam Anderson and Brian Sharp.
Oh my heavens!
They just get collected, and then Keith Graham comes off the corner and either doesn't see him or doesn't get out of the gas.
Now, mind you, this wreck is starting already. Andrew Miller is completely sideways, coming to the barrels on the front stretch retaining wall. And in the meantime, Keith Graham is just now in the middle of 3 and 4. There's got to be some reactionary time where you just start slowing down with the caution coming out.
Yeah, there it is. You see the yellow lights.
That's incredibly late to be slowing down. I'll be surprised if he's not smoking, so I'm surprised he has much motor left.
No, and we're riding on board. This is out of the visor of Keith Graham going around. You see Brian Sharp up here, and you can just barely make out. We're going to hide the scoring tree just so you can see it. Just out of the top left-hand corner, you can see Brian Sharp. So this accident is going to start with the yellow truck who's just disappearing. He's not in Keith Graham's view, not in his view. We're assuming one monitor. Now,
right.
Now the caution is out right.
This is on the backstretch.
Caution is out right now. You see the yellow lights. He's slowing down.
So now you in your mind, there's no one in front of you. There's no one that can pass you. Now, when you see this light, it's time to start slowing down.
Well,
right there's where you start slowing down.
Yeah, it's awfully tough to say. It did appear as though he was losing RPM, Sam. So maybe he was slowing down and just locked up the brakes or whatever have you. But a hard impact for Keith Graham in the 09. Even harder.
If anything, it should tell you just how fast things happen at this racetrack.
It does indeed. It
happens incredibly fast, and sometimes your peripheral is just not wide enough that you catch things fast enough, and so it's just a byproduct of racing at Bristol sometimes.
It most certainly can be. It's like that. The one that always gave me fits was Five Flags, because the turns are a little bit more sharp than Bristol.
And there's an inside retaining wall there.
And there's an inside, and you cannot see around the corner.
And you have to ride the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah. And Eagle Flight, we think the same. Tough deal. Donald Green, by the way, has said he is out of the race. And he's going to see if he can't do something at Rockingham. Tough break for Donald Green. We're going to check the Infield Care Center, and we do have Donald Green in the Infield Care Center. Donald, you've got Mark and Sam Crow in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
A tough end to your day. The bad run of bad luck continues. Can you kind of tell us what ended your day and what your thoughts are for Rockingham?
I'm not sure. I seen the 67 get around, and there was just nowhere to go, and we got into him. I thought we were going to be able to fix the truck, but got it down pit road and pretty much done for the day. So we're looking forward to Rockingham. Hopefully we can get a better finish there. If not, we'll be at Talladega, and we'll definitely put on a show at Talladega for sure.
100%. Well, thank you so much, Donald, for stopping by. Do definitely want to thank you for doing that, and give you your due. Friends, family, sponsors, shout outs. Anybody you'd like to shout out to. The floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, shout out to my wife for letting me do this every week and being my biggest fan. I don't know if she's watching right now or not. She went out with some friends, but we had a new sponsor on the hood of the truck this week. We'll be carrying them the next 2 races. The Poor Boys Trucking Company. It's a VTC on American Truck Sim. Some close friends of mine. Shout out to them for letting me put them on the car and truck this week and the next couple weeks. So, of course, Starter Industries and Starter Farm and Race Equipment and VP Racing Fuels, all the guys that are on the car, and big shout out to all the sponsors for AMA, Archway Industrial, Black Magic Studios, Rogue Energy, all those guys. Thank you guys for putting on a heck of a broadcast every week.
You're more than welcome, Donald. Keep showing up. Keep digging. You'll get it eventually. Good things will start happening, brother.
Oh yeah, we're gonna try to definitely put on the show at Talladega for sure.
100%. Well, that's Donald Green. He is an early pedestrian here at Bristol. I do want to point out that you may see Justin Osterman scored as the leader. Not really quite sure, Sam, how that happened. He does have a black flag, and he is on the pit lane. I don't know if he somehow picked up a lap somehow under that caution. We're under caution for a spin involving Liam Anderson. And so that is the reason for the yellow light. 76 of 250. We are past the first stage. And I think what's going to happen here, Sam, is they're going to wave the entire field around the pace track.
Right.
Is that?
That's exactly what's happening. They're doing a field correction right now.
So there's
because the way that everything played out, while we were in the interview with Donald Green, Liam Anderson had gone into turn 1 on the restart and had lost the back of the truck and spun out and collected Ken Allen, and so that brought a caution out, and it was right at the restart. So what it did was it just jumbled up the field based on where the pace truck picked up the field, and so that's why they're having to do this readjustment.
Yeah, now you see Andrew Miller. He's taking the wave around. Well, maybe. Maybe. And this is all accomplished by admins who are in the race. They do have admin boxes, and so they are able to extend cautions, wave people around the pace car, clear black flags, mute people. They can distribute a black flag. They can give you the hook. And there we hear one of those administrators has extended the caution, and so that's where we're at. Handy tool, the admin box. Do want to thank Archway Industrial Coatings for their sponsorship of the Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. Archway Industrial Coatings is a St. Louis-based flooring company that have been getting the job done for years. Their epoxy and urethane flooring solutions withstand the test of time, all while meeting their customers' installation schedules and budgets. They're committed to doing the highest possible quality work at the lowest possible cost every time. Get ready to floor it with Archway. That's archwaycoatings.com, or you can see Sean Mott, who is a regular competitor here in the AMA Truck and Grand National Series. The lights are out, Sam, and so I think we may be getting ready to have some green flag action here.
Yeah, I'm listening carefully to the in-race communications, and so they're still trying to sort out some things. Administration is trying to talk the drivers down. Some drivers are a little nervous about some penalties that they may or may not receive, and so they're still trying to work through these things as the green flag falls. I think the administration will be able to straighten this out as soon as everything gets back under green flag conditions.
Yeah, they do have a button which is clear all, and so
clear all, right.
There are some black flags that are out there. We're sitting right now, Sam, in a viewpoint that I discovered yesterday, and there go the black flags for everybody but Justin Osterman. So everything has been cleared away, but we're sitting in a seat that I came to enjoy and love yesterday. We are in a seat in the top of the Colwickie Tower, and this is what you would see if you bought a ticket and sat at the racetrack right here. It's a great.
There's just no bad views here, honestly.
You know,
even if you were sitting at the bottom, you would be filled with so much of the ambiance of NASCAR racing. How could you not love it? The noise, the smells, I worked for a corporate company, and we had suite we had a suite at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and I used to entertain clients at that particular venue, and a lot of times I would take clients that had never been to a NASCAR race, and so they thought it was great to sit up in the plush environment of a suite. And but in the race, I would say, "Come with me," and it would just change their whole dynamic of viewpoint whenever they got out there and saw how fast the cars were, the smell of the fuel and the rubber, and just the atmosphere down there with the fans. It just changed them completely from that sweet life.
You know, there's a spot like that at every racetrack. For me, the one that I love, and I go to it at least once a year. Colby Pierce loose on the bottom, just in front of the field. He saved it 3 wide though. Everybody's going to get through, and look at who is coming toward the front. The 28 of David Dunwoody. David Dunwoody started this race in 22nd. When this updates, he's going to be third, and he might be second. He's working on Ryan O'Donohue here, but he has made up 19 spots, Sam. And so
and he's done it so quietly.
Yeah, we haven't said a word about David Dunwoody, other than he was involved in a minor spin earlier, avoiding somebody else's accident. But he's got it up in the top 5 here, Sam, and looking for more. Kendall Paul has gone to the lead. Ryan O'Donohue is second. You've got Logan Edwards third, David Dunwoody fourth, and Austin Hund is sticking around in fifth.
And did you see who actually got back on the lead lap? Brian Sharp is back on the lead lap.
Yes, he is. Austin Hund working to the high side.
Now Ryan O'Donohue is trying to work traffic here.
Yes, he is. Now, I want you to keep in mind the 33 of Mike George is a lap down, and so he may be holding up a little bit of progress here, and he'll want to be careful not to interject himself too much into this battle for the top 5. We've got caution.
Mike George could very well be fighting for the lucky dog. He's 22 laps down.
He's
so
22
I don't
laps
know
down.
That he would be eligible. Yeah, he wouldn't be eligible.
He wouldn't be. The cause of the caution, and it's Brian Sharp. He had gotten back on the lead lap, and there he goes. He's just all by his lonesome. He spins out, and poor Brian Sharp is going to be the caution. 94 of 250 here.
Oh, he almost had it saved, too.
Yes, he did. And when Brian Sharp is involved in the caution, he gets to play the song. Brian Sharp having a tough night here at Bristol. He is still scored 13th, 1 lap down. We do only have 12 cars on the lead lap, by the way. And we're
not quite to halfway. We're not even halfway.
Yeah, and there are several cars out of the event. Jeremy Dunwoody, Donald Green, Michael Kirk. Michael Kirk is still circulating, so he's brought it back out. He is 54 laps down. Pat O'Brien and Jason Southern.
Michael Kirk actually was not. He had some connection issues, and he came in late. So his demise was not race related. It was equipment related.
There you go. And fans will ask, well, why would he do that? Well, in about 27 laps, he's going to move up 2 spots. And then there are others who are heavily damaged down on the speedway. Liam Anderson still sits on pit road. He's been under repair for nearly 8 minutes. It is a championship. Every position is points, and those points count. And speaking of counting, we do have a ton of people in here watching. If you have not already done so, make sure to click the like button on the video, ring the bell to subscribe to the channel. We are on our march to 1,000, and we know that about half the people out there watching do not subscribe to the P1 Broadcasting Network. Go ahead and ring the bell and change that. And we would definitely appreciate having you along for all of our iRacing broadcasts that we do. And there's one on, Sam. I think we've got one just about every night of the week on here.
Usually with every broadcast, we see new subscribers, and so we hope that this race isn't any different, that most people will like the product that they're seeing through the AMA as well as P1 Broadcasting, and they'll join the team. We're always looking for new team members.
We are, Sam, and speaking of new team members, Tomorrow's going to be a ton of fun here at P1. Gary Godso has there's no Velocity Online race tomorrow. That series has the week off, and so the IndyCar iRacing series, and that's always a big one, is at Long Beach, and that's a big time deal. Sunday night we'll have the votive. That's at 2:00. Sunday night we'll have the votive IndyCar series at 8 o'clock Eastern. 7:50 broadcast, 8 o'clock start. You've got the IndyCar Top Split from Portland, the Sim Gaming Expo ISRA Open Wheel Series from Milwaukee on Monday. Doubleheader at Atlanta as we watch Kendall Paul streak away. Doubleheader at Atlanta for the IndyCar Oval Series on Tuesday night at 8:15, and those are always fun. Atlanta is what Gary. We've got caution on the Speedway one more time. Sam, any ideas?
It looked to be Barry Seaman. Barry Seaman is loose over in turn 3. Actually, he just started losing control of the truck out of 2, and then he spent the entire backstretch trying to save it. And he almost had it saved for a second, but then he lost control going into 3. So that's what's brought out our caution this time. He didn't hit anything, and no one hit him.
Yeah, and there he is backwards into turn number 3. Barry Seaman bringing out the caution, and so we are 101 laps of 250 complete here at Bristol. Kendall Paul leads it. Logan Edwards second. Ryan O'Donoghue third. Austin Hunt fourth. David Dunwoody is fifth. Colby Pierce, Jeffrey Hyatt, James Hodgson, Ted Craven, and Chuck Sweeting are going to round out your top 10. The remainder of the lead lap, Andrew Miller and Chad Winstead. Everybody else on the track, 13th on back, is multiple laps down. Braden Langley is going to get the lucky dog. He'll be 3 down. Ken Holland in the 84 is on the pit lane under significant repair, as is Brian Sharp. Barry Seaman is still on track, 8 laps down. Justin Osterman, 10 down. Billy Elwell, 19 down. Mike George, 22. Keith Graham has brought it back onto the Speedway, 24 laps down. Liam Anderson has rejoined the fight, 26 down. Jeremy Dunwoody, Donald Green, Pat O'Brien, and Jason Southard out of the race. Michael Kirk circulates 54 laps in arrears. But back to that schedule, that's a fun deal, Sam. I'm not going to run it, but I think we ought to join the chat and give Gary and the gang some support. That is a fun deal. It's an IndyCar race, but it is a NASCAR style plate race. And those cars turn. You want to talk about wicked speeds. The pole speed the last time we went there was in the neighborhood of 235 miles an hour.
That's insanity.
You want to talk about fast? It is fast.
That's insanity.
And they usually do a podcast deal in the middle. They take a little break, and then they come and those guys reform, and they bench race a little bit in the middle. They bench race a little bit in the middle. We've got the Horizon IndyCar Series. They're going to be on Wednesday night with Ryan Eric King and I. And then next Thursday, Sam, you and I are going to be right back here for Rockingham. Rockingham week is a ton of fun. Looking forward to that one for sure.
Temperamental Grand National car. Ooh, it's going to be a joy.
I bet there might be some worn out rear tires next week, Sam.
Some worn out nerves.
Green flag back out. Kendall Paul gets the drop. He's going to speed away from this battle. It's Ryan O'Donoghue to the inside of Logan Edwards. Logan Edwards is going to prevail. He's going to grab the spot. Austin Hunt now is going to go by Ryan O'Donoghue. O'Donoghue just does not seem to be able to get going on that inside, Sam.
No, it's very difficult to get going on the bottom just simply because you want to keep control of the truck and you want to save the tires. But a lot of these, we're getting in the second half of this run in stage 2, and a lot of drivers want to go to the top. That's where they can generate the most speed and feel the most comfortable.
It most certainly is. Watching Austin Hunt, he's going to drop to the bottom, and Logan Edwards now. Dunwoody has, cleared Ryan O'Donoghue, and so David Dunwoody is firmly ensconced in 4th position. Although O'Donoghue is trying to work his outside now.
3 wide off of 4. Wow, that was close.
Yeah, that's back here with You've got the 33.
Colby Pierce and Chad Winstead. Mike George, oh wow, it was really. Colby's got a handful of that truck.
And you've got lap cars in here mixed in here too, Sam, and that complicates matters because you've got lead lap cars. They want to get going, and you've got lappers running around out here, and they're not doing anything wrong, but just by virtue of being there, they complicate matters for the guys that are on the lead lap.
Yeah, it gets into the mindset of the drivers that are on the lead lap themselves, and they think, why is this lapper up here racing so hard? Why is he up here in the midst of this battle? I'm trying to make it. Oh, Dunwoody in the wall in 3 and 4. He doesn't wreck, but he hits it a ton.
Yeah, the wall glue got David Dunwoody, and now he's going to be passed in wholesale fashion by the line. Drop him back to 8th place. Colby Pierce has made it by Chuck Sweeting. He runs 9th. Sweeting demotes Chuck Sweeting back to 10th. Andrew Miller and
Sweeting, actually, if I'm not mistaken, no, it was maybe it was Logan Edwards that I saw. But one of the purple trucks actually got into the wall.
Well, and you've got Ted Craven and Andrew Miller, and they are about half a lap behind this battle. Interestingly enough, they're racing hard for the 11th and 12th positions.
Oh.
Those are the final spots on the lead lap, but we're watching the Hornet's Nest. It's right here around Chad Winstead. He's going to go to the tops of James Hodgson and claim 6th spot. Or try to.
Hodgson had a handful of truck there in 3 and 4, and he's still battling that truck. He's still fighting for all he's worth as
they go 3 wide behind him there. I think Dunwoody has hurt the 28.
He hit the wall so hard.
Yeah, I don't know if he's hurt the truck or if he's,
he may have wheel damage at the angle that he hit that wall. It could very well be wheel damage.
Let's hop on board and see what the wheel looks like for David Dunwoody here. You see him working on it on the left-hand side. It doesn't look too bad, Sam. It doesn't look like the wheel itself is off. So that's always good news.
Yes, of course it is. If you can keep that mark centered on the steering wheel, then the alignment is still good.
Most certainly so. Got a shout out for Logan Edwards from Penza Toppings. There he is. He runs along in 3rd. Do want to thank Donald Green for mentioning. Sam, we're gonna these boys are gonna go open wheel racing here in just a couple of weeks. Kendale Paul has announced the 2nd running of the AMA Interstellar Indianapolis 500. That's going to be April 25th and 26th. So qualifications will be 2 weeks from today. And Sam, I think you need to join us for that one. I got a fresh Delara waiting just for you, buddy. I'll even set it up for you.
You really do not want to mess that show up by inviting me.
They're already.
There's a big mess coming off of 2. They did not wreck. The lap truck of Ken Holland was there on the inside, and they're fighting feverishly back there for that position. And it was just a big log jam coming off of 2.
Oh, it's still a log jam. They're still 3 wide. Chad Winstead is right in the middle of an absolute mess. There's Winstead. He gets below the 54 of Michael Kirk. And he's trying to work.
And the 84 truck is doing exactly what he needs to do. He's running that low line. He's staying out of the racing line. But when you have that many trucks fighting for a position, there's just nowhere to go.
Well, and we called it.
You can't hide at this track. You just can't.
You can't hide. You can. And we talked about that yesterday. You might be slower and you're doing all the right things. But even though, you're slow and you're staying high, staying low, you call it out, it still creates an issue for the faster trucks around you. There's the 83 of Braden Langley. He's doing the right thing. He's trying to stay high. He's trying to stay out of the way. He can't, but it just everything jams up, especially on corner exit where everybody's fighting and sliding and you're loose.
Yeah, you have trucks running the high line. You have trucks running the low line. They're fighting for position. It just becomes a parking lot really when you have that happening like that. Liam Anderson is back on the track now, and he's running the bottom of the racetrack as well.
All right, man. Caution is out.
Now we have caution on the raceway.
That's going to be the stage break. And the 34, Chad Winstead loses it. Oh my goodness.
Oddly enough, the reason I did not know that was because Kendall did not post the pit lane closed 2 laps prior to that. So
I
that's
I didn't see anybody else other than
yeah.
Chad.
There is no incident on the racetrack. Usually Kendall will post a closed pit 2 laps before the stage break, but it was so intense out there. Maybe he just missed it.
Well, I think it could have been. You can program the stage breaks in iRacing itself, Sam,
Mhm.
and the closed pits and all that, and it could have just been something as simple as a miss key,
I see.
where it threw the caution early. But there you have it. Austin Hund is your leader. And there you see him. Kendall Paul second, Logan Edwards third, Ryan O'Donoghue fourth, Jeffrey Hyatt fifth. Do want to thank everybody out there watching the Archway Industrial Coatings AMA Truck Series. If you have not already done so, make sure you grab the like button on the video, ring the bell to subscribe to the channel, and be notified of all of P1's iRacing content. We've got a broadcast every day through next, I believe, a week from tomorrow. Indy cars, stock cars, Xfinity cars, trucks, whatever your pleasure is, you can find it right here on the P1 Broadcasting Network. And so we do encourage you to ring the bell, subscribe to the channel. Under caution, 130 of 250 laps for the second stage break. And do want to thank everybody out there, Sam. We do have an awesome audience just one more time here for the AMA Truck Series.
We really appreciate our fan base that shows up for these races and watches them and encourages all the drivers that are participants in the AMA. And of course, we as broadcasters are always very appreciative and humbled that you would come out and listen to us as we try to navigate ourselves through these events. And so thank you so much to the fan base that comes out and watches.
Yeah, do want to thank everybody that is here and in attendance. We do appreciate that. Under caution again for the stage break here at Bristol, 131 of 250 complete. And you know what that means, Sam? We're past halfway. We can flip the counter. 120 laps to go. Mike Rigney has joined us. How about that, Sam?
Mike Rigney.
He is a fan of the. He is a genuine fan of the AMA, and I know he's a genuine fan of Sam.
That's because I owe him money.
Is there anybody that doesn't owe him? I think I owe him money too. Maybe that's why he shows up. We all owe him money.
Well, it's just a subtle reminder. I'm watching you. I'm watching you.
Oh my goodness! But welcome
it's
to.
Always great to have Mike. Mike is a tremendously good racer, and he's been a loyal hobbyist to online racing for a number of decades now. And so, besides his loyalty to the sport or to the hobby itself, he's just a good man. He really is a good man.
He is indeed. I do enjoy racing in his series very much on Monday night, which you can catch right here on the P1 Broadcasting Network. And look, he must not have had his readers on because he was on the wrong account. Now he's on the right one. We did have wholesale pit stops under that caution. Everybody that's on the lead lap, with the exception of Colby Pierce.
All right, man.
We have some drivers that are taking advantage of the wave around here.
They are indeed. Pierce has gone back to one lap down. He's back on the pit lane. So we are down to 10 cars on the lead lap. We're back in our seat in the Colwickie Tower, looking out over the Bristol Motor Speedway. I mentioned last night, Sam, if you look to your left here, well, basically from where you're sitting, everything to the left is up a mountain. And my seat, if you were looking at this thing, is just about halfway down the backstretch, about 15 rows up from the bottom. Great seat. You can see everything, but I got the double whammy. I had to get the free Winstons at the bottom of the mountain, climb all the way up the grandstand, because you get in at the top and then walk clear the heck all the way down them.
And then rent the respirator so that you could walk back to the car.
You are not joking. There's the field. We're going to watch it from the P1 airship. Austin Hund leads it. Logan Edwards second. Row 2, Kendall Paul and Jeffrey Hyatt. Ryan O'Donohue and James Hodgson make up row 3. Chad Winstead and Ted Craven are row 4.
Green flag.
Chuck Sweeting, David Dunwoody are the final cars on the lead lap. We've got a bit of a server glitch, a little bit of a blink, but away goes Austin Hund. He is your leader, and this is an awesome shot, Sam, where you can see all the action almost. There's the action, though. It's around Ryan O'Donohue, as it's been most of the night.
Austin Hunt with a big jump there at the beginning of the final stage here, and he's decided that he wants to drive out of people's lives, and so we could see if this gaggle of trucks will get sorted from 5th place back. We could see some green flag laps here, just like we did in the Xfinity race last night. The last 80 laps were under green last night.
You know, you most certainly could. I do want to point out that I was incorrect. The turn 4 stand is the Darrell Waltrip stand. The Kulwicki Tower is turns 1 and 2. So I was mistaken. My seats are in Yarborough, by the way. Mike Rigney says that that's about where he sits, is where the seat cam is here at Bristol. So I'm glad that we could make you feel right at home, Mike.
Oh my heavens, Billy Elwell up in the wall.
Yes, he was. We were watching that. He is riding the cushion, and we talked about that last night. We're going to kind of get on board. We'll go to the right front suspension of Ryan O'Donohue, and you can kind of see that dark gray starting to build up there at the top where Billy Elwell's running. That's marbles, and that is not grip, Sam. Billy Elwell hits it hard again, but that is not grip up there. You will not be able. It's like driving on ice. We got caution on the
Out
speedway.
on the racetrack. Caution out again.
Whoa.
Oh, they're wrecking. They're still wrecking on the backstretch.
Whoa! Justin Osterman, Ted Craven after the yellow came out.
This is Liam. I believe the caution was actually Liam Anderson as he was coming off of turn 4, just lost the back of the truck, and he collects Michael Kirk there, but Kirk's able to keep it straight. But then on the backstretch, we see Osterman
And Ted Craven.
Ted Craven. I was wondering, yes.
So we're going to look
for some reason, Craven comes down the track onto Osterman, and boy, he hits the inside wall a ton.
So that was the first accident. Subsequent to that, we have a little bit of activity under yellow. The 33 is backwards there. We're going to check on that in a second. Hard into the wall for Ted Craven, and the teddy bear takes a lick on the front. You also had the 33 of Mike George in the inside wall, and that's
right.
just going to...
He's self-spun. He's self-spun coming off of 2.
So let's have a look at that.
He was all by himself, and he self-spun there. And then there was activity just ahead of him after the fact. Oh, that was the Osterman Ted Craven contact.
Yes, it was. So we're gonna have a look.
Because George is already on the inside of the racetrack. He's already on the inside of the inside retaining wall, and Ted Craven comes off the wall as they're approaching him, and turns down onto Osterman, and that's where they make their contact.
And there you see the third and final incident of this caution. Ted Craven has brought his car to pit lane. Mike George is going to stay out. He, of course, is 22 laps down. That's a shame for Ted Craven. He's going to come off a pit lane. Andrew Miller also taking service. But Ted Craven, I mean, he's on the lead. That's a lead lap truck.
He sure is, and he's probably fighting to stay there. He hit the wall really hard with the front of the truck. Now, these trucks at this particular track can take some front end damage, but it's a gamble at best to find which incident, if you keep hitting the front of the truck, which one's going to be terminal. It's like he's under power.
He is. I'm looking at I'm looking at the roll bar to see if he steps on the clutch to see if there's any see if he steps on the clutch to see what the bottom RPM is. Just as a
Right.
little-
The idle RPM.
Yeah, just as a tip for our fans out there, if you're ever wanting to know whether or not your vehicle in iRacing is damaged, yeah, when you get on pit lane, we've got Liam Anderson spinning toward the inside wall one more time. He makes impact, and we'll go ahead and get a replay of it. Liam Anderson is going to make contact with the inside wall. I don't think he had any help, just got loose coming to the restart. Hits it.
He's been really struggling with that truck on the bottom ever since he was in the earlier incident. He's really struggled keeping the truck under him for the remainder of the race up to this point.
He has indeed. Do want to point out too that Barry Seaman does have a black flag, and so he is back on pit road.
He just got a lap back.
Yeah, so
he was actually our lucky dog cannon a couple of cautions ago.
He most certainly was. Looking at Chuck Sweeting, he's second, trying to run down Austin Hund. Logan Edwards is third. The battle rages back here. That's that's David Dunwoody. He is seventh. He's looking to the outside of James Hodgson. And then they've got Kendall Paul just immediately to the front of them. Behind them, Billy Elwell rides. Now, Elwell 19 laps down, but he is most assuredly keeping up with the leaders here.
Well, Billy Elwell actually showed some speed early in the event.
Yeah, he was in the lead. He
some
kisses the wall.
He had some self spins, and then he said that he had some wheel issues, and so looks like he's kind of ironed a few of those things out. He has a lot of. Osterman hard into the wall in one.
Yes, he was. He's in the background of this battle. Do want to point out that Ted Craven has pulled his truck back onto the pit lane, as has Liam Anderson. Those two trucks are under further repair. We're going to get up here and look at David Dunwoody because he has made it past Kendall Paul. He's going to set his sights on Chad Winstead. David Dunwoody might be the fastest truck not being driven by Austin Hund or Chuck Sweeting right now.
Oh, Billy Elwell loses it in four right in front of another truck.
It's Osterman.
I don't know if
the 14 of O'Donoghue involved.
He had help, and this Mike George may have gotten close enough to him.
All kinds of trouble
tell
here.
If they may, Billy Elwell. Well, no, I don't know if Mike George touched him. Elwell went straight to the wall and looked like he may have just overcorrected.
Well, we're gonna see if they didn't touch. It was awfully close to the inside spins. Billy Elwell. Justin Osterman can't avoid him, and poor Ryan O'Donoghue is going to be clouded in the rear by the 09 of Keith Graham. For Ryan O'Donoghue, he's going to spin to the inside. O'Donoghue, though, does not hit anything.
No, Ryan O'Donoghue is fuming.
Yeah, he got hit hard, but he doesn't hit anything else. He maintains his position on the lead lap.
Rear end damage is not going to be as detrimental as front end damage.
It is not, and so there's no marks on the front of the EI truck, and so Ryan O'Donoghue is able to continue. We are back under caution here, 93 to go in the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. And speaking of Archway Industrial Coatings, Sam, they would love to tell you more about them, but they'd rather show you what matters most, the quality of their work. So take a moment to browse their gallery, email them or call them to get a free quote. That's archwaycoatings.com, or you can reach out to number 5, Sean Mott. If you need something done, contact Sean. Whoo-wee, Sam. We're about at the point last night where they got everything squared away, straightened out, and from here we ran more or less caution-free, if I remember correctly.
At this particular point, yeah, we did see a long green flag run last night that presented a lot of excitement, especially considering we were watching Kyle Heath get kind of mired up in some traffic, and then Greg Evans pulled out to a lead, and then he used up a little too much tire, and then in the closing laps, Kyle Heath made it dramatic for sure.
Let's talk about tires for just a second, because the number 28 Black Magic Studios truck of David Dunwoody has stopped and strapped on a new set of boots. Same for Andrew Miller in 11th. Both of those trucks, the 28 and the 40, they are on fresh rubber. And so keep an eye on those two. Everybody else has been out there for at least 28 laps on the lead lap. And so one of the cool tricks that we have, Sam,
All right, man.
we can show everybody how long it's been since the last stop.
I love that graph.
Yeah.
I love that graph.
Love it. So there you see Andrew Miller won. David Dunwoody
again, as you said at the beginning of the race, again, these drivers had 4 sets of tires, 1 set on the truck, and then 3 in the pit area. With two stages, they would have changed tires at the 2 stages, leaving most of the field with 1 set of tires left. Some drivers may have used their allotment already, just simply because they may have been in an accident and slid and hot spotted their tires or overheated them. But the majority of this field probably still has 1 set left in the pit area.
You know,
Look at that. That's
David,
a great graph. I love that.
David Dunwoody pipes into the chat and he says he didn't put any tires on as we go back to green. He apparently did not watch film of the last race here at Bristol, where I pulled that trick, made a stop. There was a caution about 15 laps later. I stayed out, got the lead. Everybody else pitted, and Kyle Heath and I had a fun battle to the end. Heath actually spun out trying to catch me. That was a fun night here in the AMA Truck Series. 2 wins for me here in the series, Sam. One of the shortest tracks we go to at Bristol, and the other one was at Talladega. And so I'm assuming that means I like banking.
You're a speed junkie. You're an open wheeler. You're just a speed junkie.
You know, you were talking about how fast the sprint cars go around here. We've got a battle for the lead now. Chuck Sweeting is all over the back of Austin Hund, and we'll get on the nose. Look at that premium sim rig builder's car up there at the front, on the nose of Chuck Sweeting. But David Dunwoody and I conducted an experiment. We were taking pictures of my Indy Alliance car when it was finished, and we were looking for a place to go that had road course wings and really, really bright lights. And Iowa also has the same, the short track package, but the lights aren't as bright. Here at Bristol with the concrete, it sets everything off really nice. And so we brought the IR18 here. I was running around here at 8.5 seconds a lap.
I can't even wrap my head around that.
I was dizzy. They are.
I bet so.
They are
I
fast.
bet so.
We pulled in. Of course, the smallest track that they brought the IR18 to here in iRacing is North Wilkesboro, which is a touch shorter than this. And there were guys that complained of dizziness there because we were doing 200-mile-an-hour laps around Wilkesboro.
I'm sure, especially if you're running VR. If you're running VR at those particular speeds at those tracks, I can completely understand where you get motion sickness in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, we had guys. The cars were so fast that we had guys in the top split race that were retiring because they were getting dizzy. It was a wild affair. But that's one of the cool things about iRacing. You can do stuff like that. You want to run. There's a series out there, and I gotta see if I can't get a crack at it. They run the IMSA prototypes on ovals.
What?
It is a wild thing to see, but they run the IMSA prototypes, Sam, on ovals.
I have seen some. I've seen some online video of IMSA races on ovals with no cautions. With the AI.
No, this is a real league somewhere they do it.
Oh heavens! Oh heavens!
It is wild stuff. Because they take all the aero limits off, and so you can lay the wings back, and those babies will run. Speaking of running, you've got
There's a
Kendall.
wreck on the backstretch. We've got a wreck on the backstretch with David Dunwoody.
All right, man.
It's the
caution is out.
89
Caution is out.
of
Well, it looks like actually Braden Langley, the 83 of Braden Langley, who loses it off two and collects David Dunwoody as they're coming off the corner, and they just careen down into the inside wall. Oh, what a tough impact there for David Dunwoody on the front of the truck. He rights it very quickly. They both get them turned around, but a lot of heavy damage to the 28 of
David Dunwoody, and what's even worse for Dunwoody, he goes a lap down, and you see the front of that truck all crinkled in.
Actually, he was the last. Yeah, he was the last car, the last truck on the lead lap. You're right.
He was, and there you see at the front all stove in on the number 28, and so he's gonna need to get some work done on the Blackmagic Studios machine and try to get it repaired. Now, he's the only car one lap down, and so the good news is if there is another caution, that truck will get back on the lead lap. Meanwhile,
Yes,
we're going to have pit stops.
Well, this is the window. I think that this is the window where some drivers will say, okay, I think I want to use that last set of tires. We only have 46 laps since the last pit stop, but someone may want to make that gamble. They may want to take that chance with their last set of tires in hopes that we'll go green the rest of the event. But if there's another caution between now and then and drivers that may have tires left, then it may not benefit them in the long run. Wow, that was a lot of damage to the front of the Dunwoody truck.
It most certainly was. He's on pit lane affecting repair. One of the trucks that is also on pit lane, and we've got him on the screen. Sam, you had a taker. Ryan O'Donohue has brought the 14 to the attention of his virtual mechanics. Andrew Miller has punched out of the number 40. Either that or he's blinked out, one of the two. We'll see if he comes back momentarily. But Ryan O'Donohue in the engine ice machine, he's decided that now's the time. He's going to take the fresh tires, 72 to go, and see what he can do. Meanwhile, back at the front of this deal, it's Austin Hund, Chuck Sweeting, Chad Winstead, Logan Edwards, James Hodgson, Kendall Paul. Andrew Miller is back, so he blinked out but came back. Colby Pierce, 8th. Jeffrey Hyatt, 9th. Ryan O'Donohue is 10th, and you see him forming up back there. Everybody else is a lap down. David Dunwoody lost 2 laps on that deal.
Well, the damage was extensive. I'm not surprised that he lost laps. It's just how extensive is the damage and how much was he able to get repaired?
Well, I can tell you, I can answer those questions exactly. He was in his pit box for 56 seconds. He has 19 minutes of optional damage, and that's what that looks like.
Wow, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that's what that
So
looks
he could
like.
very well be. He'll have handling and engine issues.
All right, man. Caution is
And the
out.
caution is back out as they're spinning through 1 and 2. Michael Kirk and Billy Elwell are involved in that particular spin, but I don't know what brought out the caution.
Well, it's Michael Kirk is going to get sideways here in front of the back half of the field.
Well, was it he or Dunwoody who come off of turn 4 and he was sideways down the front stretch?
We're going to see
I think that may have been what actually brought the caution out.
Well, you've got we're watching the 54.
Dunwoody was already spinning on the front stretch by the time that the Michael Kirk and who was it, Billy Elwell, before they ever made their contact.
Yeah, so there's the incident with them. Brian Sharp gets into the back of the 33.
When that
Hard
happened,
impact for Keith Graham
David
as
Dunwoody
well.
was already sideways. Yeah, he was already sideways down the front stretch.
Yeah, and let's see what you've got there.
Elwell is. Oh wow.
Now,
a lot of contact, right? Oh my goodness, Brian Sharp's truck completely off the ground.
There you go. David Dunwoody popped into the chat and he said the front tires were facing each other, and it looked to me as though he might have been having some severe areas. It just goes around coming off the corner, and so Dunwoody spins it to the inside of the track. And this is right about the same time, and this is real time. Those two incidents happened on opposite ends of the track. Sam, opposite ends of the track at just about the same time. So there's the crash up at the top of your screen. And I bet if we go back, you see Dunwoody spinning on the right-hand side of your
Sharp
screen.
gets into the back of Mike George, and then Keith Graham delivers a big hit to the back of Brian Sharp.
Yep, we're gonna see if we can't get toward the Brian
Sharp.
We're gonna see if we can't get to the Brian Sharp machine. There it is.
He is on pit lane at the moment.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of cars that are going to be on pit lane here under repair. Watching Brian.
I'm not surprised with David Dunwoody saying that the tires were facing each other, considering he had 19 minutes of optional damage.
Yeah, and there's Brian Sharp. His truck sits in the pits. He's been a minute or more in the box. Meanwhile, we need to get back to the front of the field, Sam.
Right, we're back on the green.
The green flag has dropped. The 0-2 has pulled off and away. Meanwhile, Chad Winstead is going to make a challenge here for second, but he's got Logan Edwards right to his inside. 65 laps to go here at Bristol.
Now you have drivers that are probably starting to think that they're getting into the closing fifth of this race. And they may be thinking that it's time to start making their move to the front. Austin Hund has had a great race, and he's led a lot of laps, but there's a lot of challengers that are going to chase him down. They're going to want to get up and take that lead spot.
Yes, they will.
Big pass for Kendall Paul back there. He's really utilizing that high line. And Ryan O'Donoghue, did we determine if Ryan O'Donoghue took tires on that stop?
He did take tires. Now, he did get a nick and a ding in that last fracas there.
That little incident in 2 and 3.
But he has, it doesn't seem to have affected him. He's gone around James Hodgson. He is pulling up on the back of Kendall Paul. Play the Jaws music from the 14 to the 78, because here he comes. We'll give you the Days of Thunder shot. How about that? Caution is on the Speedway.
We have caution on the Speedway again.
It's hard to tell, Sam. It might be...
Billy Elwell loses it on the front stretch again.
Okay, so here's Elwell. I get into it. There's contact with Keith Graham involved here.
It's just incidental on Keith Graham's part, just simply because Elwell had such a handful of the truck. He's trying to save it. He gets sideways, overcorrects, comes back up and hits Keith Graham in the door, and then Osterman has nowhere to go.
Nope, there you go. Another hard impact for the Liam Anderson Motorsports truck of Billy Elwell.
And,
I think Osterman gets credit too. I think Justin Osterman may have been involved in, per lap, more incidents than any other truck tonight, but that's the one that we want to watch. That's Ryan O'Donoghue. He restarted 10th. He is up to 6th. He is on the freshest tires. David Dunwoody checks in. He says he's been released from the infield care center. The truck is totaled, but he's got the virtual boys hammering on it. They're going to see if they can get back out and maybe salvage some points. He is 16 laps down, and he does have Barry Seaman still circulating out there, so he's going to want to maintain that 14th spot if he can.
And Billy Elwell has been ushered back to the hauler in the infield for
So-
consultation, and
so-
so he has left the server.
So it used to be the big red truck, right? And then it became the cell block. But what do they call it now, Sam? I don't know.
Well, I've always referred to it as a hauler, just simply because back in the Winston days, it was just like one of the other race teams haulers. It was just modified to house the officials and give them a break area and things like that. And so I've always, and I probably always will call it the hauler.
Bill Jr.'s big red phone, right?
Exactly.
Always love Ray Evernham's accounting of going in there after they demolished everybody at the Winston. I want you to pick up that phone and call your boss. But why, Bill? Why, Billy? That car's perfectly legal. Your inspector said so. It won't be tomorrow.
Green, green, green.
We're right at just a tad over 50 laps to go here, and Austin Hunn jumps out to a big lead. But he is not going to be without some rivals coming up quickly here. So now that we see drivers like Ryan O'Donoghue, who has fresh tires, making his way up to the front. And Kendall Paul actually was a fast up-and-comer there on that last restart. So I'll be interested to see what he does as well.
Yeah, we're getting close to checkered flag time, and that usually means you're going to see the 78 start to advance toward the front. I do have my eye on Ryan O'Donoghue, though. Just because he's on such fresher tires than everybody else, and he's not really run that many green flag laps on them. They're 3 wide behind. We're going to keep it on O'Donoghue.
Wow, Andrew Miller all the way up to the wall. Jeffrey Hyde on the bottom. Looks like they're going to sort it out here.
They are. There's
Jeffrey
that battle.
Hyde looking on the inside of Hodgson. That is for a position. They get extremely close in 3 and 4.
Sorry, I'm chuckling at the behind the hauler reference. That's an old school short track reference from a man that's seen a lot of racing. Meanwhile, we're going to go back to Ryan O'Donoghue because he has now caught Logan Edwards, who has caught Chuck Sweeting. And so we're fixing to have a titanic duel for the bottom step of this podium. 49 laps to go at Bristol. Austin Hunn leads it. He has checked out.
One thing that I've noticed about Ryan O'Donoghue, even though he probably does have the freshest tires of all the leaders here, is that he is really not really pushing the truck. He's really, he just got loose off of 2 there and about lost a position. To me, it doesn't seem like he's just trying to really push the truck and get up to the front. He's trying to do it gradually.
Yes, he is. And he's gotten around Chuck Sweeting. So move Logan Edwards to second, Logan Edwards to third, Ryan O'Donoghue fourth. He is a tick of the stopwatch faster than Edwards, and he is running that preferred higher line. He does have the tires to abuse should he choose to do so. I would anticipate that pretty much everybody in the field now, with 44 to go, has made their bed and they're going to have to lay in it. Sam, wouldn't you think that's the case?
Well, there's only 10 trucks on the lead lap. So if there's a caution between now and the end of the race, you could very well see the leaders come in and get that last set of tires. Especially if it's a 10-lap run or something. Oh, and we do have caution on the racetrack. We do have caution.
We've got a truck backwards, and that appears as though it might be Michael Kirk.
Yes, he's on the front stretch.
And there he is. That is the 50.
Again, another truck that was just trying to mind his own pace here. Just loses the back end enough that he spins coming out of turn 4.
And there you see it, Michael Kirk. Back end starts to come around. He saves it. Hang on. And there it goes.
That will give Justin Osterman the opportunity to get one of his 8 laps back.
There it is. Justin Osterman, the lucky dog, is 8 laps in arrears. The 83 and the 54 making contact going down the pit lane. That's an interesting situation. We're going to cut away from that. I do not.
They're still banging into each other.
Yeah, we're not going to show that. We're not going to show that. Austin Hunn and Chad Winstead are going to bring it down pit lane. As is Kendall Paul, Colby Pierce, and Andrew Miller.
I really felt that this would be the place where drivers would come and get this last set of tires.
Yeah, so we're 40 to go here. Logan Edwards, Ryan O'Donohue are going to be out. Same for Jeffrey Hyatt. The top 3 are going to be on old rubber. O'Donohue's is much newer than the other 2, and then everybody else behind them on this lead lap is going to have fresh tires.
So if Ryan O'Donohue actually did use his last set of tires some odd laps, 20 laps ago, then he will be at a decided disadvantage here. He and Logan Edwards, as the trucks that will be behind them will actually have fresh rubber for the closing stage or the closing laps of this race.
You know, we do. I wonder if I visit Rigney over here up in this seat, if he'll supply me with a refreshment and a piece of fried chicken. We'll have to ask him about that next time we see him.
No, Rigney only peddles corn dogs.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's all.
That's all. Just corn dogs. No, I have to bring my own beverage and fried chicken if I want to see Mike Rigney.
No, the beverage part is between you and him.
So there's the reset for you. Ryan O'Donohue is certainly in the best position of the 3 that are on the older rubber, because I think he's only got about 15 laps of green flag action on those things.
Right.
And they've been cooled off, and so he might be okay. Logan Edwards and Jeffrey Hyatt are definitely going to have some work to do. We've extended the yellow here one more time. 38 to go. We're going to get the green with 36 to go. Do want to thank everybody that has stayed with us here tonight at Bristol. If you haven't already done so, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell to subscribe to the channel. We are in our drive for 1,000, Sam. Another great crowd here tonight for the AMA Truck Series. Ring the bell so you don't miss. Ring the bell and subscribe so you don't miss any further AMA action.
One thing that I've noticed tonight about these drivers is that on these restarts, you just haven't. There's been a couple of instances where drivers have been in the wrong gear, but for the most part, having older tires, I've not been seeing drivers with a lot of wheel spin. So I do want to give some credit in that regard. Just simply as you get worn tires on these restarts, it's very easy to spin those tires.
Yeah, give credit where credit's due. It's not been guys spinning tires and getting stacked up. It's been further back in the pack, just cold tires in general that we've seen the action happen with. We're gonna get on the P1 drone right at the start finish line. Watch the restart. Logan Edwards streaks away, and he's gonna immediately, I feel, be challenged by that 14 of Ryan O'Donohue. Should O'Donohue be able to clear?
Oh, they're almost 3 wide. Chad Winstead thought about it for a second, but he changed his mind.
They weren't almost 3 wide. They were 3 wide briefly. Austin Hunn has got the bottom, and he has gotten past O'Donohue. Winstead is going to try to follow suit. O'Donohue going to fight back on the outside. That bottom line, though, they've almost got a roadblock in front of them in the form of Jeffrey Hyatt, because he's on the bottom also.
Andrew Miller with a handful there in 3 and 4, but he holds on to it, and there is a caution on the speedway. I saw a truck on the apron.
Is it? Let's see. Is it Dunwoody? One more time,
it may have been. Yes.
Well, no. He just goes to the apron.
No, it's the 83 of Braden Langley is on the apron. Actually, I see him down on the apron in 1 and 2.
Yeah, let's
go back and see what was going on. There was a big checkup on the back stretch.
Okay, so Langley hits the wall here, and
he gets bumped into by David Dunwoody, and then he goes into the wall, and he could have very well gotten wheel damage at that point. So he comes down the front stretch and he hits the outside wall. He had wheel damage clearly because he hit the outside wall again. Once he goes into entry into one, he has no control over the truck.
Yeah, so we're
Trying to get it to the bottom. He just lost control of the steering.
Well, we're gonna rewind this quite a bit here. So there's the contact between Dunwoody and Langley. The hard impact first, and then Dunwoody's going to pull it down pit road. And it appears as though Langley had it going again, and he hits the wall hard again.
In turn 4.
Yeah.
But once he gets to 1 and 2, it looks as though he has no steering.
Yeah, and it could have been. Let's get inside that truck and see. He's on the apron. Yeah, the wheel is no longer moving. So
right.
I wonder if that's the steering's either broken.
Could have broken a front right suspension.
Yeah, he's not able to turn the wheel anymore. So either
there's no input there at all.
No, and so a tough end to the night for Braden Langley.
You can see the RPMs dropping. So now he's in the brake. He's completely in the brake to get the truck to go down the hill.
Yeah, there's the truck of David Dunwoody. 2 more minutes of repair. He had 19 minutes before. I'm sure he's got many more of them now. Here's the field. Austin Hunn, Jeffrey Hyatt, row 1. O'Donohue and Chad Winstead are going to be on row 2. Chuck Sweeting, Kendale Paul, row 3. James Hodgson, Andrew Miller, they're back in row 4. Colby Pierce and Logan Edwards, row 5. We're going to go back to green. That's the top 10.
Austin Hunn has wasted no time getting back up here with those fresh tires.
He has not, and it's only a matter of time now before he gets past Jeffrey Hyatt, and then Chad Winstead's going to follow him pretty doggone quickly. O'Donohue has been able to maintain 4th over Sweeting and Kendale Paul, at least for now. There goes Austin Hunt. He's going to make the pass for the lead. Hyatt back to 3rd now. Chad Winstead is 2nd.
Winstead is going to get right into the tailgate of Austin Hunn here. Hunn's proved that he's fast. Chad Winstead's a proven winner here, and so they're going to they're both going to push these trucks as hard as they can push them in the closing stages of this event.
Right on cue, Sam. You said fast. Austin Hunn set the fastest lap of the race, but Chad Winstead responds with a purple lap, and he's dropped to the inside. He's going to try to move around the 0-2 and see if he can't grab the lead for himself. $26-25 now laps. Austin Hunn leads Chad Winstead. We need to get the intervals back up here so we can show the fans exactly what's going on. Ryan O'Donohue has stabilized in 5th. Chuck Sweeting is 4th. Jeffrey Hyatt 3rd, but they are more than a second behind this battle.
Oh,
Sweeting
Chuck
is loose.
Sweeting saves it. Oh, what a save on the backstretch.
That is.
He loses a lot of track position, but he is not out of this race.
This is worth the replay, fans. The 75 of Chuck Sweeting is on the bottom. And
now we have caution. Now we have caution on the speedway. Looks like on the backstretch. Yes, we've got the 55 of Barry Steeman, who is sideways up against the wall on the backstretch. And Barry apparently just lost the back of the truck off of 2, and again trying to save it. He comes back up the racetrack and hits the outside retaining wall. And wisely, he holds the brake and allows the field to go by. He doesn't let off the brake until the field goes by. That's just track consciousness. And so
we should have kept a tally of how many cars between last night and tonight lost it on corner exit low, Sam, because it has to have been a couple of dozen. There's the impact there for the 55 of Barry Seaman. The Aflac Duck is he's going to need some more insurance. We are under caution one more time. Austin Hunt and Chad Winstead are going to have a go here for the win here at Bristol. Don't count out O'Donohue in third. Kendall Paul is going to line up fourth. Jeffrey Hyatt is in that mix. Now, Hyatt is going to come to the pit lane and take his tires. And so
he must have had one set left.
He does indeed. We do have word from David Dunwoody that he's going to go ahead and retire his truck. It's too hard to control, and he doesn't want to cause any more yellow. And that's a sporting move for Mr. Dunwoody. Of course, longtime backer of the AMA series sponsor for the Xfinity series, and we do thank him for all of his support. And he's a good friend of mine. You'll find his logo on the sides and the wings of the number 69 Indy Alliance Indy car. So do go check him out. Get yourself some paint. Get a wrap.
I heard through the grapevine, it'll make you 2/10 faster.
2.2 seconds is the speed advantage if you use a Blackmagic Studios wrap on your race car.
2/10.
Who
doesn't want to go 2/10 faster?
I tell you what, I could have used another 2/10 in Indy 500 qualifying trim last year. I'd have been sitting in high cotton. As it was, we barely missed the show in the 69, but we're getting ready to come back to green. Jeffrey Hyatt is trying to get his truck lined up underneath Chuck Sweeting, and now the advantage.
Jeffrey Hyatt will be the last truck on. No. Actually, Andrew Miller is the last truck on the lead lap.
Yeah, so Miller and Hyatt have freshies. Chuck Sweeting has 4 laps on his tires, and it's kind of a mixed bag from there. 21 laps for Hund and Winstead, 48 O'Donohue, 21 Paul and Pierce, and then
big jump for Austin Hund here. Big jump.
I do want to point out. The other thing I was going to point out, Logan Edwards has 14 laps on his tires, so he's fresher than the cars in front of him. He's made it to the inside of Ryan O'Donohue. Colby Pierce is going to try to challenge. We're 3 wide back around Jeffrey Hyatt. He is trying to get to the front with those fresh tires, as is Chuck Sweeting, and James Hodgson is the meat in the sandwich.
Oh, and they're so close coming off of turn 4 there. Almost 3 by 3. Colby Pierce has done a great job considering the incidences that he's been involved in to be up here in the top 5. He's done a great job tonight to be up here and racing with the leaders.
Yeah, I don't think there's a clean truck left in this race, except maybe for Austin Hund. Whoa! We would show you the leaders, fans, but this is where the action is.
Oh, my heavens. Hodgson again off of 4, almost loses it.
This is 5th through 9th. And now Hodgson's losing it. Does he get down pit road?
He's off the racing surface, though. I don't think there's a caution out for that. I don't think that there'll be a caution.
I was going to say, he might have avoided the caution just because he got straightened out, got back in the gas. We stay green. Chuck Sweeting gets loose on the bottom. Still looking at, and there goes Hodgson. He did turn the truck down pit road to avoid the caution. He was right at the entrance to it, Sam, and so I think he just turned it left, slowed down, and he's gonna more or less just take the drive-through to keep us green here. We've got back to the lead. Austin Hund, Chad Winstead, and Logan Edwards is coming.
You can run these trucks so hard that you can actually get the right rear so hot if you push it too hard that you can start really cutting into your lap times if you're not careful and still being smart with your throttle control.
Most certainly so. Flip back to Jeffrey Hyatt.
Certainly evened out.
Flip back to Jeffrey Hyatt. He is on the new tires. He is right behind Kendall Paul for 5th, and they've got Colby Pierce right in front of them. Kendall Paul wiggles coming off of turn number 4. Jeffrey Hyatt is going to grab a piece of the inside. They bang doors going through turns 1 and 2. Hyatt on the bottom, Kendall Paul on the top. This is the battle for 5th position. 8 laps to go now, 7 here at Bristol.
With the preferred line there, it's going to be very hard to pass on the bottom.
I'll tell you what, it's going to be very hard for both these guys to keep control. They are both wiggling and sliding those trucks, Sam. They're giving it all they're worth, and Hyatt, I think, has overheated his tires. Battling Hyatt, though, has allowed Kendall Paul to pull up on the rear of Colby Pierce. This would be a battle for fourth.
Watch this run. Watch this run coming off the top side. Oh, and he just gets loose, and that opens the door for Hyatt.
Jeffrey Hyatt is going to go to the bottom. He wants a piece of that action. Move Hyatt to fifth, and now he is going to challenge Colby Pierce for fourth.
Now he'll go to the top and try to get a big run over outside of Colby Pierce here. Colby Pierce will keep it down, give him some room.
Andrew Miller down on the apron. He is not a factor.
Now Jeffrey Hyatt should be able to make this pass coming down the front stretch.
Yes, he should.
And they touch a little bit going into 1 and 2. Colby Pierce not going to give it up that easily.
No, he's not. And Colby is doing the right thing. Colby Pierce, he's doing the right thing. He's not running all the way at the bottom. He's running that middle groove, and he's denying the corner entry, but he just can't hold on. Jeffrey Hyatt gets by. Kendall Paul gets by. You saw the wiggle from the 42, and that's going to put Colby Pierce back to sixth. Meanwhile, we may have a battle for the lead brewing with 2 laps to go here. There's Chad Winstead.
Now that we're catching some lap traffic, it's going to be hard to say what exactly can happen in the closing lap. We have 1 lap to go when the leaders come to the line this time by.
There you see Barney waving the white flag in the flag stand. This is the final lap on the P1 Broadcasting Network. Austin Hund to the middle. He's got a...
Oh, Chad Winstead hanging it out on turn 2. He's hanging it out in 3 and 4. He's drifting, and that opens the door for Logan Edwards. They come to the line, and Edwards gets him.
That was a wild race for second, Sam.
Chad Winstead was giving it everything he had on that last lap.
I had put it on the flag stand on the Barney cam just so that we could see the finish, and we caught that charge from Logan Edwards. What an end! Holy mackerel!
Oh, he was up on the wheel. Even though he had three or four truck links to catch Austin Hund, he decided that everything that was left in the truck, Chad Winstead said, I'm going to go for it.
Use them if you got them, right, Sam?
Well, as just smart racing by Logan Edwards, he took advantage of Chad Winstead's misfortune and was able to race him off of turn 4 and capture second place, the second rung up on the podium.
Austin Hund is going to be your winner. Logan Edwards second. Chad Winstead rounds out your podium. Jeffrey Hyatt, Kendall Paul, they'll complete the top 5. Colby Pierce, Chuck Sweeting, Ryan O'Donohue, 6 through 8. They make up the remainder of the lead lap. Andrew Miller, 1 lap down, and James Hodgson, 2 down. They'll complete the top 10. In 11th, Justin Osterman, Ken Holland comes home 12th. Ted Craven, 13th. Brian Sharp, 14th. Barry Seaman, 16th. Keith Graham, Braden Langley, David Dunwoody, Michael Kirk, and Billy Elwell are your top 20. In 21st, Mike George, 22nd. Liam Anderson. Jeremy Dunwoody is going to be credited with 23rd. Donald Green, 24th. Pat O'Brien, 25th. Jason Southern, 26th. Jalen Story will be awarded 27th. And John Hutchins, neither Hutchins nor Story actually took the grid, and so they'll be given 27th and 28th spots for tonight's event. My goodness gracious, Sam.
Well, they were certainly doing a great job of giving us some excitement in those closing laps. Austin Hund really dominated a lot of this race, but Chad Winstead has won some events here, and he is incredibly a gifted driver, and he was going to make sure that Austin Hund did not come in here thinking that it was going to be easy pickings.
Most certainly so. We are awaiting Chad Winstead in the booth. I do not see him. There he is. We're going to move him on up. He went to the wrong waiting room, but that's okay. Chad, this is Mark and Sam in the P1 Broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
My man, that was wild at the end. If you don't mind me asking, is there any tread left on the rears, or is it, or are they gone?
Absolutely not. I had the truck feeling like it was on the dirt Bristol track tonight. Those last 10 laps, but definitely gave it my all there to try to get around Austin. That was a tough fought battle. Kudos to him.
Yeah, we did.
There's no question that you were doing that.
We did.
We appreciate your so much putting in the effort there at the end of the race. I mean, you're three truck lengths behind him, but you had already determined that you weren't going to let him think that it was going to be easy. I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. I hate that I kind of blew the last turn just trying to send it in there for all that I had. It's kind of a frustrating race, to be up front there at the beginning and get taken out, and had to really work to get the truck repaired pretty much half the race to be able to have a shot at it. So just thankful to be up there fighting for the win, honestly.
Well, we're thankful that you were up there fighting for it, because you certainly made it exciting, Chad. And thank you so much for dropping by the booth. Friends, family, sponsors, shout-outs. The floor is yours, my man.
Yep. Shout out to the Pilot John crew that's on the truck every week. Anybody that's watching tonight from there. And if my wife is tuning in tonight, shout out to her. Those are my biggest supporters. And obviously, shout out to you guys for putting on this broadcast, and Dark Horse Performance for having me on the team, and Kendall for putting on this league. It's been fun this season, and I hope to keep battling for these wins.
We appreciate you, my man. Thank you so much for stopping in, and we look forward to seeing you at Rockingham next week. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy.
Will do. Thank you.
Great job, Chad.
That is Chad Winstead. Our next victim is a guy that I've wanted to talk to for quite some time. That's going to be Logan Edwards. Logan, you're more well known in these things in iRacing and in the community as more of an open wheel driver. But tonight you trade in the wings for some fenders and you bring it home second. Talk about the end of that race. You got by Winstead. He burned up the rear tires trying to catch Hund. Do you think if you could have gotten by Chad Winstead a little bit earlier, you had anything, or was Austin just too stout?
I think it was down to track position. I definitely should have stopped with them. I just didn't know where the cautions would fall. I definitely think that having that, like, fewer 1 or 2 laps helped me get to the field in the first place, but Hunt's put on a good drive to win.
Sam?
Logan, did you a great run tonight? It was certainly fun to watch you making your way up through the field. Well, back and forth through the field, actually, with so many cautions. With the limited amount of tires, what was your initial strategy in trying to play that out, hoping that you would be able to save that last set, and when were you able to save them?
Well, I was kind of playing a game of reverse chicken with the rest of the field. I wanted everybody to stop before me at the end, but there just wasn't enough green flag runs to justify stopping at a different point than everyone else.
Do you feel like the tires kind of equalized after a while?
Yeah. I think there was a point halfway through the race where there were some people on fresher tires than others, and they definitely made a difference.
Mm-hmm. We had a great run tonight. It was fun to watch you race there, especially coming to the line and making up that spot with Chad burning up the right rear.
Thank you.
Well, I tell you what, you had a heck of a run tonight. You come home second. You've been up front. You were up front a lot last night. You're up front all night tonight, Logan. The floor is yours. Friends, family, sponsors, shout-outs. You got it, my man.
I'd like to shout out Luke Mansky. He's brought me on board for his IndyCar team for this season, and this is actually the first time I've been able to mention that anywhere. So huge shout out to him. He actually sponsors the guy that won this race.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's kind of a 1-2 in a way. And thanks to my brother, I know he's watching. He gave me some basic information from the broadcast during this, and he kind of helped me out to understand where all the cautions were coming from. And that's all.
Yeah, it's always nice to have somebody on the radio, somebody talking to you, somebody feeding you information, and you use that information that you were given to your absolute advantage. So we'll look forward to seeing you at Rockingham next week. Keep going fast and having fun, Logan.
All right. You too, Mark.
Yes, sir. That is Logan Edwards. He's going to run second, and we're going to get to the man of the hour That is Austin Hund. Austin, you got Mark and Sam in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy, sir?
Yes, sir. I got you.
I'll tell you what, your car definitely is not one that can be missed out on the racetrack. The Luke Bansky sponsored machine. Tell us about your run. Once you got to the front and got the clean air, you were gone.
Yeah, that's I feel like the front made a huge difference tonight. It just it seemed almost effortless up front most of the night after I got there. So just trying to clean sail. I thought Chad was going to catch me right there at the end, though.
Yeah,
he certainly was making an effort at it.
Yeah, I was going to say he burned the rears off such that he lost it coming off of 4 and wound up giving up second to Logan Edwards. So you definitely had the fastest truck. But Sam, it's your turn with the winner.
Austin, great win tonight. The strategy, we talked about this last night in the Grand National race, just how important being up front in races like this is, and you kind of alluded to that. What was your thinking when you got that last set of tires and you're starting somewhere about the 8th position? What was your processes about how you were going to get back up to the front?
I just knew I had to make the most of the fresh tires and get back up there as quick as possible. So I was driving the wheels off of it till I got there.
I am a little curious too what inspired the Dia de Muertos paint scheme that you have.
That is actually something Mr. Luke made up for me whenever we were doing the Road to Pro qualifying series a couple years ago. And I enjoy it, so I just keep it around.
Yeah, it's a good looking paint.
Yeah,
I was glad to see Chad running the bottom there at the end because I knew that was going to wear his stuff out, trying to keep it tight to the bottom. So I was trying to take a little bit of air from him, trying to stay in, kind of middle and exiting low, and it seemed like it worked.
Well, strategy certainly worked in your favor tonight. It was fun to watch you kind of work your strategy. You did really well on tire strategy. You kept the truck up front. You kept it clean. Actually, your truck was probably the cleanest truck on the racetrack by the end of the night. And so it was a masterful job of racing tonight, Austin. Great job.
Thanks, sir.
Well, we do thank you for stopping by the booth, Austin. Friends, family, sponsors, shout-outs. The floor is yours, my man.
Of course, Luke, he's got all kinds of sim racing gear. He'll build you a sim rig, ship it to your house. He's got all kinds of real race car parts, too. And then the family, just for letting me sit down and have a little bit of peace and quiet to do this.
Yeah, it is always nice to be able to sit down and race and not have anybody bother you. But keep going fast, having fun, my man. We'll see you next week. Congratulations on the dub.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely, Sam. We had another barn burner of an event.
It was certainly eventful. That these races have always proved to be eventful, and it was just interesting to see how everything unfolded throughout the night. Of course, we get the benefit of a lot of the things that are involved with these races by strategy, tire strategy, and where they're lining up in the field and trying to make the most of their positioning. And so it was good to see some green flag laps as well as a new name up front winning a race.
It most certainly was. And speaking of new, we're going to go to a new track at least for the AMA, but one of the oldest and most dear to our hearts, Sam. Next week we're going to be at Rockingham.
Just so sentimental.
Oh my goodness.
So nostalgic. I love it.
That's going to be Thursday night for the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series. 8:20 broadcast, 8:30 start. Friday night next week, trucks from Rockingham. Again, Sam and I in the broadcast booth. 8:20 broadcast, 7:30 start. The trucks are off on April 25th. Beginning the month of May, they're going to go to Texas, Kansas, North Wilkesboro, and that's going to be a fun one, Sam. Charlotte, and they will end the month of May in Nashville. How about that? A race every...
Will that be at the fairgrounds, or is it the Super Speedway?
It's going to be at the Super Speedway.
Okay.
It's going to be at the Super Speedway. So That's what we're looking at as far as the schedule for the AMA Truck Series. We kind of talked about what's upcoming on the P1 Broadcasting Network for the remainder of the week just a little bit ago, but we'll run through it just one more time. Tomorrow night, or well, not tomorrow night, tomorrow during the day, Gary Godso and the Open Wheel crew are going to have the iRacing IndyCar Series round. My goodness gracious. iRacing IndyCar Series round from Long Beach. That's at 2 o'clock Eastern. The Votive IndyCar Oval Series will have its finale at Indianapolis, 7:50 Eastern Sunday. So if you guys would like to see me be badly beaten in an IndyCar, tune that one in. Monday, you've got the IndyCar Open at Top Split. That's going to be from Portland, and that is a brand new track in the service, Sam. A lot of guys are kind of excited to see that. 8 o'clock is the start. Clindy and I will be in the booth for that one. And immediately following, the ISRA Sim Gaming Expo ISRA Open Wheel Series is going to take place from Milwaukee. That one will go at 9:35. The IndyCar Oval Series is going to have their top split action from Atlanta, and that's going to be a double header, Sam. 8:15, 2 for the price of 1. You can't miss the new Atlanta with Indy cars. It is so...
Who doesn't like that? Who doesn't like 2 for 1?
It is so fast. The Horizon IndyCar Series, that's going to be Ryan Eric King and I at 8 o'clock on Wednesday. They're going to be at the old Atlanta, or the good Atlanta. So there's good and bad Phoenix, and there's good and bad Atlanta, and the good is always the older version. The newer Phoenix and the newer Atlanta aren't really conducive to open wheel cars, but the old Atlanta is absolutely awesome. And that brings us right back here to the Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series, 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time broadcast. 8:30 is the race right here on the P1 Broadcasting Network from Rockingham next week. Do want to thank all of the sponsors of the AMA, Blackmagic Studios and Archway Industrial Coatings for their sponsorships of the 2 series, Admin Box, Trak Racer, and Rogue Energy Drink for their sponsorship of the series. We do also want to thank for Sam Crow and Gary Godso, our founder, all of the first responders, the military, police, firefighters, the EMTs, all the people that do the hard work in the middle of the night so that we can sleep soundly in our beds. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
6 more days.
We can take the belt off. We can take the belt off and relax for a couple of days. The weekend's here.
6 more. I tell you what, you might get to relax. I gotta go figure out how to turn right.
Somehow I believe muscle memory will come into play.
It probably will. And speaking of that muscle memory, remember, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We will see everybody in 6 days.
Good night, everybody.